everything the award stood for, not just being a great quarterback or a great football player, but like you said, the character that John Unitas, how he carried himself off the football field. It's great to win an award like that. And obviously it's an award to the top senior quarterback. So, you're getting your degree, you're going to school, you're graduating. I mean, it's really just an all-encompassing award that represents, so much more than just being a great quarterback.
Well, with us today is the man and where it all started, right? Peyton Manning's won this award, and Carson Palmer and Deshaun Watson and so many great quarterbacks, but there's only one guy that ever won the first one, and Don McPherson, who had a great college career at Syracuse, is with us. Don, happy to talk to you. I got to tell you, I got to go on record. I think my first impact, I probably saw you on TV, but I covered the Cherry Bowl. Was that your sophomore or junior year in Pontiac at the old Silverdome when you took on Maryland, right?
That was my sophomore year, and I think it was 6 degrees below zero on game day in Pontiac. It was just an awful environment for a bowl game.
And guess what, Don? That was the last time they had the Cherry Bowl, too. That was the end of it. But what does it mean to be the first guy back in 1987 to win the Golden Arm and to have John Unitas there to congratulate you? Take us back, if you would.
I can honestly say that season for me personally was more than I ever imagined would ever happen to me in college football or in the game, period. We had a magical season. We went from a 5-6 to undefeated, and all the hoopla that came along. And I was the quarterback. I was the quarterback and the beneficiary of an outstanding defense, a brilliant offense, a great offensive coordinator who came up with some crazy things that they're still trying to replicate to this day, the diversity of that offense. And I just got lucky. I caught lightning in a bottle, and arguably one of the greatest thrills of all of that, to be the first winner of the Johnny Unitas Award, was just such a monumental thing to begin with. But then I got a chance to meet him.
Yeah.
And I'm from the generation, Scott, before ESPN and before the networks, before guys were legend. And now you can become a legend if you score 4 touchdowns in one game and everyone sees it on a Tuesday night because ESPN's covering, right? You become an instant legend. To be a legend back then, you had to go out and perform consistently day in and day out in a way that people were going to go back to their typewriter and write about you. Yeah. And talk about the great things you did and the great character of the individual. And he was Johnny U. I mean, come on, man. And just that whole thing. There's a picture, and I know I see it on the website, of him standing in the pocket with the dust around him. There's one in a restaurant in New York, and I love sitting and watching that because you can just see how, it wasn't perfect lighting and it wasn't perfect uniforms and all the stuff that we have today. And so to meet him and to sit with him at the dinner and to talk with him, it was just like, you're living a dream, man. You just live in this, I'm talking to a living legend, and my name is going to be on the trophy. And so I think among the things that happened during that year of 87 for me, that was arguably the most special because I got a chance to sit and meet the man.
How special was that run? As you said, the year before, you were a pretty ordinary team, and suddenly you're top 5 team in the country. Nobody can beat you. Man, that thing flipped in a hurry, and it must have been just a great ride.
It was, as you said, we were 5-6 the year before. Our head coach, Dick McPherson, I was one of the 3 captains. He came to the captains prior to the season and said, "You guys want to do something special, do something special, be a special team." And so through a few meetings, we took this pledge to be alcohol-free. And I talk about this pledge over and over with students to this day. And it's not so much that it was the lack of alcohol, guys were in better shape and all that. All that stuff happened. But the big thing that really happened was we learned to love each other differently. We learned to love each other not by seeing each other go out and get drunk and have fun and do all those crazy things that college students do, but we had to be a little bit more disciplined. We had to ask more of each other. And I always tell the story about tight end Pat Kelly, who was a big party guy. He was a big party animal. But he was one of the first to say, "I'm in." And his influence on the team was greater than mine. Because what he did was he changed the tone on the team. And yes, there was still partying going on, but we learned to love each other. And I think to this day, we as a team, there's about 20 of us. We just lost another one of our old teammates, Marcus Paul, who was a strength coach with the Cowboys. We're on, there's 20, 30 guys on a text message thread, telling each other how much we love each other, talking about each other's kids. And that's what made that team and that time special, because we learned that there was something bigger than the game, and it was our love for each other, and that's what made the game better for us.
I'm going to ask you a little bit. I don't know how close you watch college football. I guess you did some commentating, but we look at some of the finalists this year. Trevor Lawrence, we've been hearing about that kid for 3 years. And Justin Fields and Jones down in Alabama. It looks like they got a pretty good crop to pick from on this finalist list.
They really do, and I think Mac Jones is really talking about a guy maturing very quickly. And I'm a pretty good study of college football, and I still vote on a few awards, and I still close to the game in a lot of ways. And I think Mac Jones, I love, talking about going old school. I love the way that Alabama runs the system. I think Mac Jones is perfect for that system, and a guy who's matured really quickly. Justin Fields, I mean, arguably, just the biggest, most talented guy out there, and in a long line of Ohio State quarterbacks that just have so many weapons around him. And you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, and one of the things I see about Trevor Lawrence is there's no one, I haven't seen anyone in college football who gets the ball out of his hands as quickly as Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that ball is out of his hands like that. And that to me was always the thing that a quarterback does. Is I always used to say, I'm an administrator. My job is to get the ball to the guys who are going to do the right thing with it as quickly as possible. And that means you have to be prepared. So it's film study, it's preparation, it's reps. And nobody gets the ball out of his hands as quick as Trevor Lawrence. So the selection committee has their hands full with 3 outstanding guys, each one of them. It's hard to say that Mac Jones is even the best player. As I used to always say to this day, that I wasn't the best player in my own huddle, much less, Heisman candidate. I was not the best player in my huddle, and Mac Jones certainly is not. He's got some guys around him that are pretty good in their position. So he's got a tough road to hoe there. But it's a great trio of quarterbacks, and probably, in my opinion, in the past several years, a great selection of guys who can all start day one in the NFL.
Well, you'll always be the first, and they got it right. Not only the quarterback that you were, but the person that you are, and you're still being honored for those kind of things by the NFF. So congratulations. Really great that you take time and talk with us today, Don. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Well, we're happy to have with us today Gino Torretta. We're going back to the 1992 Golden Arm Award winner, and man, this guy, what a year that was, Gino. Heisman Trophy and Maxwell Award and just about any award out there, and a couple of national championships. And then in 2010, you got the good news that you were a college football Hall of Famer. So thanks for being with us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It brings back a lot of good memories that year of 92.
Yeah. What do you remember about Louisville and meeting John and getting that award and all that goes with being the Golden Arm?
Well, I can remember my senior year. So I think the first award that I officially won was the Walter Camp Player of the Year. And then for the John Unitas Golden Arm Award, that was the first awards banquet that I went to. And so flew to Louisville, get in a limousine, and Johnny Yu and Raymond Barry are in the limousine waiting on me. I was just like, okay, this is kind of surreal. You're talking about, the greatest quarterback of a generation in there. And just, the three of us kind of just started talking ball and having a great time. And, like I said, you get in a limousine and Johnny U's sitting there waiting on you. I'm like, okay, I think this is supposed to be reversed. Yeah. I can remember he had one bad knuckle. He had a gigantic ring on. Yeah. I think his written knuckle was like 22. And I was just like, man, to think about the things that the players back then went through, and just the pain and everything that they played through. But just awesome to hear their stories and about their time playing the game.
And Gino, I was looking at your career path, talking about seizing an opportunity. 89, you get a start against San Diego State, and you set a school record throwing for 485. I guess that kind of told you, I can play up here, right? I belong.
that did actually. It probably. I say this now. The college football's game has changed a little bit from the standpoint of there's the transfer portal. You can move to different schools now, and I wasn't, highly recruited. This is before all the stars, and I was recruited by Washington State to Dennis Erickson. Jimmy Johnson and his staff recruited me to Miami. My brother was the backup to Vinny Testaverde. And, when came here was like, well, your brother's the backup, and I'm like, hey, if I get an opportunity, I get an opportunity. Great. And when I did that, I probably, if I did it now, I might have been looking elsewhere to say, hey, I'm not going back to the bench because I had to go back to the bench my sophomore year. But hey, you realize that, like I said, you got to be prepared for anything the game's going to throw at you. And I think that, obviously I made a great decision to come to the University of Miami, and stayed here. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think that a lot of people, especially in today's game, got to realize that sometimes you got to persevere. I mean, we've got a kid at Florida, Kyle Trask, who was the backup to, in high school. And now he's look where he's at. He might be, who knows, he might be the winner of the Golden Arm Award here in a short time. So,
Gino, great talking to you. Thanks for taking us back to 1992. It probably feels like it was just yesterday in some ways, but
maybe my body doesn't. I do. My mind does.
That's it. Happy holidays to you and your family. Best of luck.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you as well.
All right, we're happy to have with us today the 1998 Golden Arm Award winner, Kade Mcdown from UCLA. And just to jog your memory a little bit, we said 98 Golden Arm winner, led the Bruins on a 20-game win streak his junior and senior years, an All-American, MVP of the Cotton Bowl, MVP of the Senior Bowl, and one of 3 Heisman finalists in 1998. You're a busy guy that year, Kade. A lot of banquets popping up, getting awards. But when you look back on it, it had to be one of the happiest times in your life, right? Those college years and having success like you had.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously, spending time in college for anybody is kind of the some of the best years of their lives. So mine wasn't any different, and it was a great time. And you mentioned some of those very nice awards I was lucky enough to receive. But I would say without question, the Golden Arm Award is certainly, from an individual standpoint, the award with which I'm most appreciative to be associated.
Well, we had Gino Toretto on. We talked to him the other day, and he said, I didn't need the award. He said, I showed up and a limo picked me up with John Unitas and Raymond Berry. He said, that was all I needed. He said that. So there you are. You're sitting between John and Sam Huff listening to stories. Hey, when you see one of the old black and white clips of Johnny running around making plays and leading Colts to championships in the high tops, what comes to mind now that you're part of that family, that Golden Arm family?
Well, I don't even think of it from that perspective. I look at it as a fan and just watching, a young guy sort of, create, what ended up being the modern day quarterback. And he was, I actually have, I know I have a really great photo of Johnny U in my house, a big one that a dear friend of mine had given me. And it's just a great photo, and it hangs prominently in my house. So I'm, I see that, and I'm always amazed that I got the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with him. And actually, just one additional point, and he may have done this with others in the past, but being a lefty, when he handed me the Golden Arm Award, he actually presented it to me, and I looked at him. I said, Johnny, there's just one problem. This is right-handed, and I'm a lefty, and he goes, here.
That's great. Hey, Kade, I looked up, and I think you and Matt Leinart are the only 2 left-handers that have golden arms. So you're in a pretty unique class right there. That's a great story. You talked about John kind of being the guy that really changed the position, kind of a pioneer, and he kind of invented the 2-minute offense that you and every other quarterback since has run at some point. Can you go back in your career that got you to be a Heisman finalist and a Golden Arm Award winner and find an innovative moment, whether it was a game, a play, a career decision, some kind of game changer that put you on that path where you had all that success?
Boy, that's a hard question to answer. But if we could, I'd love to come back to that. But you just kind of triggered another memory of something that John and Sam were talking about. And at the time, I think they had noticed for years leading up to that point, sort of a shift in the offensive coordinator coordinators and the coaches on the sideline really sort of dictating the flow of the game. And I remember just hearing Johnny U just lament, this fact as being such a shame, and when he was on the field, quarterbacks had a much better sense of the game than somebody from the sideline or up top, and they didn't have a sense, and the quarterback should have been making all the play calls and getting all the, all the personnel groups involved. And he was really, a quarterback and a coach at the same time when he played. And that was very different, obviously, from the era I played in, where you have a lot more, helpers, coaches, quarterback coach, coordinator, it just goes on, and everybody's sort of involved in making play calls. And to listen to John talk about it, he was the final say on everything. He would go up and he'd look at he'd have a sense of what was working or not working and be able to respond. So it was just really fun listening to that and hearing his take on that.
Let me ask you this question, Kade. What would you say to the five finalists, or that guy that is going to get the Golden Arm? What's that going to mean to him when he gets that word that he's the Golden Arm Award winner?
Well, I'll tell you, you no matter how prepared you think you are in terms of understanding the significance or the importance of this particular award, you're only going to truly appreciate it as time goes on, and you get to really understand, who Johnny Unitas was, what he meant to the game of football, what he still means to the game of football, and to be, part of that is extremely significant. It is something that none of these guys will be able to appreciate, in this time frame. It'll be years and years before they truly start to understand how wonderful an opportunity is to be associated with this.
And Kade, one other thing with that, and John wanted it this way. He set up the honor. It's about more than having a golden arm, because there's some guys that maybe had a golden arm, but they didn't have the other things, the character, the off the field contributions to their communities that you and the other award winners have had. What did that mean to you when you heard what the parameters were, that it wasn't just about football? Yes, football was certainly a big part of it, but the other things matter.
Yeah, no, that was, it was great to hear. In fact, I would always be asked, questions, and the assumption was always that football was like my life. And as much as I have been identified by football, for most people who certainly don't know me, that's where I'm most recognized. Football was one of many sports I played growing up. It was I always said it was something I loved to do, but it wasn't who I am. Mm-hmm. And it really, the game of football teaches you so many great things that I carry with me today and continue to build upon. And I try to teach my kids, so many of these lessons. And so, as much as I love football and I loved playing it growing up, it was never only about football. That was the game we all loved to play and got to experience with our best pals. And so to have that considered as part of or things outside of football to be considered as part of the award is certainly very meaningful.
Well, we're happy to have with us today Brady Quinn, the 2006 Golden Arm Award winner. Also won the Maxwell Award that year as College Player of the Year. And for those who may have forgot, Brady, I'll remind them that you set 36 school records in your 4 years with the Irish, 29 wins, the second most in school history. You finished fourth in the Heisman Trophy voting your junior year, third your senior year. But we're talking to you because you're part of the Unitas family, the Golden Arm Award winner. What do you remember about that was the first one that was held in Baltimore in 2006. What do you remember about the experience, learning more about John and the legend of John Unitas and getting presented that Golden Arm?
Yeah, first off, just the fact to be the first one to experience it in Baltimore, to me, was pretty special. Where really, when you think back to Johnny Unitas, at least for me, being, I would say one of the younger guys thinking back on his career, I recall him as a Baltimore Colt. So to be able to kind of go back and walk through the footsteps of, him and in his career and learn about who he was, the type of person he was, what he stood for, and what he was as a player, which obviously one of the most prolific passers the game of football has ever seen. I knew that, but hearing stories from his family about the man that he was, that was the special part. That, and considering the fact that I got to share with my mom and dad. So I'll never forget that trip. It was a tremendous event. I felt very humbled and very honored just to be able to be recognized and was able to be a part of it. And obviously, again, to have it there in Baltimore and for it to be the first year was very unique. It was truly special.
So I guess every award has its flavor, and the Maxwell Award, you got that's special, and to be part of the Downtown Athletic Club for the Heisman, and then the Golden Arm, right? They each have their flavor. Is there anything that stood out about that award here in Baltimore?
I just think even the award itself, the way it looks, the trophy, it's kind of symbolic of just that golden arm of what it really takes, to be a successful quarterback and a passer. It's one of the heavier trophies too when you go to pick it up. It's actually still at my mom's place to this day just because she's too scared to try to ship it and is afraid that it's not going to be handled the proper way. So I'm waiting on the moment where she's going to drive it down all the way to Ohio to South Florida where I live. But I think it's kind of near and dear to her heart too, since it was that award, that event was special to her as well. But I just think that the symbolism of the actual trophy itself, what it looks like, why it's designed the way it is, and what it's called, to me is pretty unique. And then one of the other things that I thought was so special, the ring, as well as an old vintage Johnny Unitas jersey that I still have. It's all, there as a part of this bookshelf, this bookcase where a lot of my awards hang back in Dublin, Ohio. That to me stood out. It was truly special to be able to kind of have something like that to one day show my 3 little girls.
Brady, I think you shared something with John. He turned the Colts into the marquee team when the NFL was bursting in the 50s. And John was that guy that TV sets all around the country turned on to see play. You were the quarterback of Notre Dame. That's a special place, and that's a special position. I guess in some ways you had something going like John did, where you knew a lot of people were dependent on you every Saturday you took the field.
Yeah, I think you felt that when you were leading Notre Dame, understanding it was more national. I mean, and you realized that when you walked in, your very first day and you looked at the other guys around the room, your teammates, and you realized that they were from all over the country. It wasn't like you were just recruiting regionally or had a few guys here and there. I mean, you were recruiting all over the country. And so you were this melting pot of a team and of a group. And, your fan base is a lot of that too, coming from all parts of the country. And you kind of realize that everyone looks to you. It's a unique position to be in. I've been all over the world, and I've always been recognized as the Notre Dame quarterback, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in South America. It's a very, very strong reach that the Notre Dame brand and obviously the history of Notre Dame has in regards to football. So that's something that you kind of you come away with. I don't think fully understanding what it means when you're in it, when you're playing, but afterwards it's something that you kind of definitely look back upon and realize how special it was.
Brady, we're down to 5 finalists that'll join your family as Golden Arm Award winners this year. And man, the guys got a pretty tough vote here because there are some quarterbacks having years. Let me throw the 5 at you and just give me a comment or two. I'll start with the Notre Dame quarterback, Ian Book.
He's tough. He's crafty. I feel like when things break down, that's kind of where he's at his best, utilizing his legs and making something happen on the ground or, finding a big play downfield. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of Ian, and just also the growth over the course of his time in Notre Dame, what he was when he first started out playing and what he's become now. It's really a testament to all the hard work he's put in.
How about Ohio State? Justin Fields making a lot of plays for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, just a tremendous amount of ability. I mean, he's got a laser arm, incredible accuracy. Obviously, if he needs to, he can break off a big run and hurt you down the field in that way too. So just an incredible talent at the quarterback position.
Roll Tide. Mac Jones is lighting it up at Bama. What do you see with him?
I met Mac Jones back when he was at high school at a Under Armour QB camp, and he was one of the most competitive people I had ever been around. After every drill, he wanted to know what the point score was, where he stood. I think he actually ended up winning overall the competition as far as points, but just a competitive maniac, a guy who's incredibly accurate, smart, high football IQ. So I really enjoyed working with him back then, and it's no surprise to see where he is right now.
Trevor Lawrence has been on the radar for a long time. Your thoughts on Trevor?
So Trevor was also at that camp. He was a year younger than
Okay.
Mac Jones, but Trevor was a guy that stood out right away. And when I saw him throw, I was like, holy cow, who is this guy? You don't see
gold
many,
in that arm, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of gold in that arm. But just overall, the way he threw it, the arm strength, the touch, his athleticism, his size, he really is the complete package when you look at, everything you'd want to put into a quarterback to make them special. So even from a young age in high school, you could tell he was going to be the phenom that he is today.
And how about Kyle Trask?
A guy who I think it's an incredible journey when you think about how long he didn't play football for. He really kind of sat and bided his time. And then last year got in, kind of surprised a lot of people, turned a lot of heads, just, overall with his accuracy, clutch play. And then you look at this year, taking that next step as a passer and really a true prototypical pocket passer, a guy who can make all the throws, kind of be that field general out there for that Florida team. So it's been incredibly impressive to watch him over the past couple of seasons. And when you take into account, how long it's been since he was a starting quarterback, dating back to, I think it was freshman year of high school.
Great stuff, Brady. Keep doing the good work.
Thank you guys. Obviously, it was a long time ago, but the memories are still there. Like I said, it truly was a special occasion for everyone in my family. I know it's something that we will never forget.
Well, we're happy to have with us the 2012 Golden Arm Award winner, Colin Kline from Kansas State is with us. And just to refresh everybody, Colin, that doesn't remember, junior and senior years, he passed and ran for over 6,500 yards, accounted for 79 touchdowns. That's pretty good work. He led Kansas State to a Big 12 championship and a #1 national ranking. He was Big 12 Offensive Player and Athlete of the Year and one of 3 finalists for the Heisman Trophy. And he returned to his alma mater in 2017. You see the cats he's wearing there. He might have that on anyway, but he is the quarterback coach at Kansas State these days. Colin, good to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you. It's an honor to be a part of it.
Well, take us back 8 years ago. Some of them run together for me, but I remember you and family. And of course, Coach Snyder was with you. He made the trip to support you getting the Golden Arm Award. But take us back to your memories that night, that visit to Baltimore, and what went with it.
Well, an amazing deal, top to bottom. The season and as a football player and, to really do it the way it needs to be done, you're so focused on the next step. And so you do that over and over again through the course of the season and get to the end of the year. And it's kind of surreal, to be honest, because all the work and all the games and process have taken place. And then being able to take a step back for a moment and kind of stick your head up to realize, what's going on is surreal. And to be surrounded by so many, again, some past winners, the Unitas family, and be a part of that event it's one of my fondest memories, of my college career and just a credit again to Coach Snyder and our program and all my teammates that made those 2 seasons as special as they were, and me being able to represent them and obviously God and my family and what all took place to put that together was an unbelievable moment.
So what's coaching been like? You're dedicating your career to it. I'm sure it's the next best thing to that adrenaline rush you get on a Saturday afternoon or when you're out there playing a big game.
It's just so rewarding. And football is I really think it's an adventure sport. You've got every season is its own trip, adventure, so to speak. And going from, I love the off season, being able to prepare, recruit and try to find the right pieces to fit into that mix, then prepare, ourselves as coaches, players, and then being able to get into the season and see how far you can go, and being able to work with all my young guys and see those kind of aha moments we were talking about, of them getting it and understanding things in life, things on the football field, and really striving and pushing themselves through adversity to learn and grow is it's one of the most rewarding things ever, you know. And it's, I mean, right after my own family is just a tremendous honor, you know, to be a part of and to compete and then be a part of this amazing game.
Colin, you'll always be part of the Golden Arm family, but you took it up a notch. You came back last year, were the guest speaker as Joe Burrow was presented his Golden Arm Award. What was that like to come back and kind of see it on a different level and kind of share it with Joe, who had a great year before he suffered that horrific knee injury this year? But what do you remember about last year?
Well, again, another, like you said, surreal moment, being able to revisit an experience from years past. But again, just the relationship piece, you know, being able to spend time with the Unitas family and the Burrow family. And again, just so many faces and people that we were able to meet before when we were out there and you know, carry on the tradition. And all of us do that, you know, in our lives and in our communities as we move forward in life, and being able to have the honor to come back and be the guest speaker was tremendous. And, you know, hopefully they have me back one of these days, you know.
hey, you saw the Final Five this year. They can't go wrong with any of those people, right? They got some good quarterbacks to sort through.
Absolutely. Well, whoever, I know they'll pick the right one, and whoever it is, I know will be represent us all well. So,
Colin, great job. Good to see you. Good luck with that third one on the way, and happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and thank you guys all so much. And we really appreciate it.
Well, we're happy to have with us today the 2015 winner of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a Big Ten Quarterback of the Year, a two-time Big Ten champion, a two-time Big Ten Championship Game MVP, a Rose Bowl MVP, and he holds the record for the most wins at Michigan State. Connor Cook, welcome. Good to see you again 5 years later.
Hey, great to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Let's go back 5 years. Man, time flies. It seems like yesterday you were here in Baltimore to get the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. But what do you remember about that whole experience, coming to Baltimore, kind of getting the tour, learning more about John? Just take us back to your view of that 5 years ago.
Yeah, so that was my first time ever in Baltimore. And really from what I recall is just, you know, the whole Unitas family taking me and my family under their wing and just being, you know, so awesome in every way. Extremely welcoming, making us feel extremely comfortable. Just spending time with us. I mean, just super, just good, you know, quality people. So obviously the tour, you know, going to see the Babe Ruth Memorial, the Babe Ruth Museum, you know, learning more about, you know, John Unitas. But I mean, the whole thing was just how amazing and how awesome the whole Unitas family was. You know, getting to know Jillian and JC and then John Jr. as well. And then Christina, you know, my family loved it. I loved it. And it was just a very, very great experience that I was able to be a part of.
And I'm sure it was neat to share it with your head coach too. Coach D'Antonio came in and was part of that ceremony that night and showing his support for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great having him there. Quarterback coach Brad Salem was there, I remember. And then our SID, Louis, was there as well. So to have those people from Michigan State there to support me and see me win such a prestigious award was very, very reassuring as well.
Is it I don't want to say uncomfortable, but different, because here you are, you're in the spotlight. You've won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, but everything you've done in your sport's always been about team. It's about team. It's kind of like a Hall of Fame honor. It's a very individual honor. Yeah, your team goes with you. They feel a part of it, but suddenly it wasn't about team that night. It was about you being singled out, not only for your football, but for your character, for the classwork you did, the things you do off the field. Just size that up for us. What did that feel like?
Yeah, it felt amazing. You know, like I just mentioned before, like being a part of that, you know, unique fraternity of quarterbacks, you know, Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You know, not many people can say that they're a part of that list. And then everything the award, you know, stood for, you know, not just, you know, being a great quarterback or a great football player, but like you said, you know, the character that John Unitas, you know, embodied. You know, how he carried himself off the football field, how he treated others, you know, the team player that he was. You know, it's great to win an award like that. And obviously it's an award to the top senior quarterback. So, you know, you're getting your degree, you're going to school, you're graduating. So I mean, it's really just an all-encompassing award that represents, so much more than just being a great quarterback.
Connor Cook is with us, the 2015 Golden Arm Award winner, and it's not easy to pick this class, just like you had a lot of good candidates the year you won, Connor, and I'm looking among the names this year: Trevor Lawrence, Kyle Trask, having a big year at Florida, Mac Jones at Alabama, what he's done, Justin Fields from the Big Ten, Ian Book. Any thoughts on that group? Obviously, that's a talented bunch.
Yeah, wow, that's an amazing group of guys. I mean, from top to bottom, and you look at Trevor Lawrence, what he's been able to do with Clemson every single year that he's played. Year after year, he's played in a national championship. Justin Fields with what he's been able to do, Trask in Florida. I mean, the numbers that these guys have are insane. So that's going to be a hard decision to make, but obviously whoever wins it's going to be very, very deserving of it.
And you know what? They'll get the Golden Arm Award. Speaking of which, where do you keep yours? Is it in a trophy case, or where's the Golden Arm these days?
Funny you ask that, Scott. It's I always keep it right by me wherever I go. So it's right
beautiful.
Here.
There it is.
All 100 pounds of it, right?
That's
here.
a big one, isn't it?
Yep. Looks amazing still. Beautiful as ever.
Connor, so good chatting with you and catching up. It doesn't seem like 5 years ago. I remember the night well, and certainly proud you're a good ambassador for the Golden Arm and the Unitas family. We wish you nothing but the best. With us today, Gardner Minshew. He's the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jags these days, but he'll always be the 2018 winner of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Gardner, good to see you. Happy holidays to you. All those good things. But what do you remember 2 years ago when it was your moment and your family was with you and Coach Leach came in? What do you remember about that night and that award?
Man, winning the Unitas Award was still to this day one of the highest accomplishments I've achieved in my career, and just being able to go to Baltimore, experience that event, experience it with, like you said, my family, Coach Leach, and the Unitas family. It was truly special, and something I look back on fondly.
When you hear the name Johnny Unitas now, since all of this happened, I mean, you knew he was a legend of the game, but now you've got that association. I guess you got the Unitas tour, got to see some of the memorabilia and some of the history about John. What do you think about when you see an old clip or hear that name now?
Yeah, you feel kind of that personal connection after getting to know, John Jr. and Jillian and the whole family. You can kind of put some real stories to that name, stories that, most people don't get to hear.
Yeah. John was obviously an innovator. It was almost 60 years ago that he kind of invented the 2-minute offense that you and every other quarterback have used since. How about in your path to where you are today in the NFL and all the accomplishments you had in college? Was there an innovative moment or something in your path that maybe, turned things around for you?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely getting the opportunity by Coach Leach to be able to play for him at Washington State. Growing up as a fan of the air raid offense, as a fan of Coach Leach, it was really a dream come true when he reached out to me, and we were able to put that kind of magical 2018 season together.
You talked about Mike Leach, and he was the reason that you headed for Washington State, and John had the physical tools, but he was so ahead of his time cerebrally. Mike Leach is some of that. Just talk about your relationship and just kind of being that guy on the field to carry out what was in his mind.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that Coach Leach, when you're his quarterback, he hands you the keys to the offense. He gives you all the tools, everything you need to succeed, and you have to take ownership of that. And I think when he puts that responsibility into somebody's hands, you want to do right by it and hold up your end of the deal.
John Unitas was famous for those great comebacks, right? Whether big games on the line down in the fourth quarter. You had a bunch of those. You had 4 comeback wins that season. Talk about that and how you keep your poise when things are getting a little hectic around you and the scoreboard's maybe not going in the right direction.
Yeah, it's all about resiliency, and I think it comes from a common belief that your team shares, that no matter what happens, you can still find a way to win. As long as we keep it close, come that fourth quarter, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna find a way. And I was, really fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of special guys that would also believe that.
Hey, I want to ask you about this season and virtual football, right? This is a season like none other, and NFL camps or facilities are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and you're having meetings virtually. And just take us through that. Give the fan a little peek as to what you guys are going through this year.
Yeah. So as of right now, Mondays and Tuesdays we're not allowed in the building, which typically those would be days you're going in, you're getting your treatment, you're getting your lifts in, maybe some meetings with coaches. Now all that's virtual. And even on the days we practice, we meet virtually, go in for practice at midday, come home and meet virtually again. So it's a year that's really testing your communication skills. I think you have to be very good at, getting your point across, and in this virtual way, I think everybody's having to adapt a little bit.
Gardner, I think we were on the radio show, and John Unitas Jr. broke the news to you that you were the winner of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, and there were some other great quarterbacks in there that were finalists. But when that kind of sunk in, what did that mean to you?
Man, it meant so much. I think it kind of put an exclamation point on, my college career. I think it was a culmination of, all the ups and downs, and to be able to end it right there, and to win such a special award, man, it meant so much. And it really, made me look back on everything I had gone through to get to that point. And man, I couldn't be more appreciative. And I don't think there's many awards that mean as much and have the depth that the Unitas Award has.
Mac Jones joins us now. Mac, one of the finalists for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, the Alabama quarterback. I don't have to tell you much about him, but I will. I'll embarrass you a little bit, Mac, and run down your resume this year. It's been a pretty good one. 4,036 yards passing. That's a school record. 36 touchdowns, second in school history. In the semifinal win over the weekend against Notre Dame, 4 touchdown passes, 25 of 30. Mac has 4 400-yard games this year. He leads the nation in quarterback rating, leads the nation completing 77% of his passes for 36 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. And by the way, he and his teammates are undefeated and getting ready to play for the national championship. So, Mac, congratulations. I'm sure it has been a whirlwind ride, and just grab onto every minute of it and enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
At this point, I'd like to bring in John Unitas Jr. He is the president of the Golden Arm Foundation. John, how you doing today? Happy New Year.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. And Mac, welcome, my friend. I wanted just to personally congratulate you on winning the 2020 Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, man. You deserve it. It is just very special. It's sitting right back here for you. Okay. And we also have a gold ring for you as well, Mac. Awesome. So we're going to get these 2 things to you. I'm sure we'll get Josh to give me, your dad, Gordon, and your mom, Holly's at home address. We'll ship it there directly, Mac, as well as the rings. And we have a couple things for your parents as well, too. So those will all be forthcoming. I also sent down to you a jersey, a Johnny Unitas jersey, and just a little token of our appreciation for all the hard work you put in, an autographed picture of my father from the 1958 championship game, Mac. But again, normally I would be welcoming you to come to Baltimore with your family at this time, but unfortunately, because of what we're all dealing with in life, which hopefully will be over here soon. But I want you to come back to Baltimore. Even next year when you're playing pro, you come in, we're going to take care of you and show you a good time, okay?
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate it, and it's just an honor, really something I dreamed of, and obviously your father's legacy is amazing, and it's just a blessing to be here.
Well, we welcome you to the fraternity of quarterbacks in the Golden Arm, and you're well deserving, Mac, and continue to play hard. And I know you guys will prevail over those Buckeyes. So,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate it so much.
You're absolutely
welcome. Mac, you're in some good company. I don't know how much you know about the history of this thing, but if you play quarterback, you've heard of John Unitas because he pretty much invented the position. But Peyton and Eli Manning and Deshaun Watson, and you've had some Bama winners too, Jay Barker in '94, A.J. McCarron in 2013. So I'm sure you're happy to be in that company.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've obviously read a lot about Johnny Unitas and all the stories about him and how he was kind of underrated in high school and had to go to Louisville, and he gained 56 pounds. That sounds like me.
Notre Dame didn't want him, Mac.
They didn't want me, so.
It's all right, man. It's all good.
Hey, Mac, John was tough as nails. He had a golden arm, but he also had another side to him. He basically invented the 2-minute offense. He was innovative. He called his own game. Back then, quarterbacks called their own game. Do you have something when you look back on your journey that was may have been an innovative play or game, but it may have been a decision, right, to stay at Alabama and work through this? You see a fork in the road where you say, I'm glad I went there?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit untraditional in today's times, just sticking with your commitment. And a lot of people transfer for whatever reason. But like you said, I mean, everyone's a different player, and I kind of just stuck it out. And I think that's the trait that is just the best for me. I don't really do anything crazy on the field or make any crazy plays. I just go out there, have fun, and do what I've always done. So definitely just a great opportunity.
You mentioned the support, the love from mom and dad and your siblings, but share with the people a little bit about the game plan that you and dad worked out. You had a plan, right?
Yes. Yeah. My family's always made me super competitive, and they love me, but my dad definitely helped me out with that. Just sitting down and creating a game plan, like you said, 4 pages of goals. Really long-term goals are great and big picture goals are great, but it's all about how you can take it step by step to get there. So my dad really sat down with me and discussed what stretches, what throws, what things I needed to get better at, how to watch film, how to do this and that. So we broke it down pretty much to the molecular level, pretty much is what
Yeah.
Broke it down, and then everything's kind of coming to fruition down the road here.
Hey, Mac, the more I looked into your background, you have this endless preparation where you're all in, but your nickname's also the Joker. So you have some fun. Your teammates enjoy you. You enjoy them. Talk about that side of the game, because it's a pretty serious game that you're involved in when you're playing for national championships with Alabama, but yet you found a way to have fun in those relationships you have with the guys, right?
Yeah, I think that, it kind of goes back to what my parents instilled in me, that sports are fun and winning is fun. That's the best part about sports, is winning and winning with your teammates. And football is the greatest team sport there is. And it's just an awesome opportunity to go out there with some of your closest buddies that you've came into college with or known even before college, and just play with them and watch them make plays. And then I'll make some plays and they get excited. So it's just a great team effort. And that's why I just love football.
Mac, I'm so impressed with your deep throws, your accuracy, and able to hit receivers in stride. Any advice for young kids that throw the football as to how you've got to that level with your long game?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to practice. I mean, a lot of people, they don't want to throw deep balls to tire out their arm and things like that, but you really just got to practice it. And it's a big off-season task. You got to go out there and stress your arm kind of like a pitcher and throw. You got to throw far to learn how to throw far.
Yeah.
So it goes back to full circle, just practice and preparation. And I've got a lot of help from a lot of great people in that aspect.
Well, this is about individual today, the Golden Arm Award, but you accept it with your team. They share it with you. But can you give us just a glimpse finally about what this week's going to be like? You got a national championship game. You made time for us today. You got the Heisman tomorrow. There's Walter Camp and Davey O'Brien and Maxwell's, and there's so much going on in your life. It's all good, but you got a little juggling act going on, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we came to Alabama, is to be able to learn how to time management, everything. And it's going to be a busy week, but you can't really change. You got to focus on the main thing. But like I said, it's just a blessing to be up for the awards. And like I said, it's all team award at the end of the day. Everyone's playing together and we're all having fun and winning. So that's what happens when you win. People win awards, and hopefully we can pull in this national championship.
Well, Mac, I know John would be proud that you're carrying the Golden Arm Award. And like you said, you're always a part of this fraternity once you're welcome in. I'll let John say goodbye to you. John, come on in.
Hey, Mac, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, listen, take care. You're a tremendous athlete. I love having you part of our fraternity. I'm going to be friends with you forever until I'm gone. Okay. And then you can be friends with my wife and my son and my daughter. But congratulations. It does take a team effort to make this happen. And you epitomize my father. And I'm very proud of you. We're proud of you. and continued success to you, not only in the championship, but in the next level, and more importantly, in life. Because after football, there's life. Okay. And sports transcends life. And you'll do fine, Mac. And we're very, very proud. And if you want to stay in school for another year, I'm okay with that. 4 degrees, 5 degrees, it doesn't matter, Mac, you know. But anyway, your parents should be very proud as well. And I can't wait to meet both Gordon and Holly at some point. And when you get to the pros and you're in Baltimore, you got to call me. Okay.
Well, for sure. I really appreciate you guys. This is a great experience, and I'm looking forward to getting a chance to meet you guys.
All right. We'll be watching Monday, Mac. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, guys.